When Josh first asked me to film this video about how Jesus sustains us, my mind immediately scrambled to think of the most traumatic things that have ever happened to me. The most dramatic events in my life, the most insane ways that God has stepped into the ruin and rubble of my life and lifted me up, saved me in the most dramatic and glorious and heroic of fashions. So I was kind of reeling through in my head some of these options, some of these stories that I could tell, thinking, well, what is going to impress the people of Mill Hill East the most? And as I was thinking it through, I was just suddenly struck by this question, like, why am I doing this? Why do we do that? When people ask us to tell a story of how God has helped us, how God has saved us or sustained us, why do we instantly always have to try and pick the most horrific thing? Why do we have to treat it like some sort of competition, like, oh, who had the worst life, or who's had the most difficult things happen to them? As if bragging about how awful life is some good thing. It struck me that I don't really I'm not very impressive, so why am I trying to impress you? God's the impressive one. But secondly, it's the same God who sustains us when life is good. It's the same God who sustains us when life is alright, when it's average. The same God who sustains us when life is bad and when life is utterly, despicably awful. The very same God is the one who sustains us and keeps us going in each of those instances. And always, every single time, it is always and only because of grace. Because of God's grace that He keeps us going and sustains us. And so I decided that I won't try and share my most traumatic experience with you, but actually I would share with you something that's been happening to me over lockdown, which, to be fair, has been equally traumatic, but kind of in a good way, and that is that over the past kind of year or so, I've been getting progressively into running, which has been incredibly traumatic for my body. It's been a big workout, it's been a struggle, but amazingly, I actually really enjoy it. I never thought I'd enjoy it, and let's be honest, running isn't fun. It's not like other sports where you get to kick things or hit things. Running, you just put one foot in front of the other, mainly by yourself. And I even listen to music when I run, so which means that I'm going for hours on end, just putting one foot in front of the other, stuck with my own thoughts. That is the epitome of boredom. But hey, I actually really enjoy it. It's quite interesting. It's fun, and there's a lot of technique to it, which is just amazing. And so the more that I've been learning about this technique and stuff like that, as I've been kind of trying and getting invested in running even more, is that actually if you want to run faster, if you want to run better, the way to do that is to run longer and slower. If you try and run as hard and fast as you can every single time, it's just not going to work. It's not going to cut it. You're just going to get tired, and the only way that leads is to burnout and injury. And so I guess it kind of struck me that actually, as we're sustained by God, the way that we kind of enjoy that sustenance, the way that we follow Jesus, the way that we walk with Jesus, is actually to go on longer and slower runs with Jesus. To take it slowly, to feed on Him, to learn how He does it. So that when things do get hard and tough, and when we do need to go fast, we know how to do it because we've trained with Jesus for such a long time. We're not burnt out, but we're with Jesus. And yeah, that is just the most awesome thing. It really is just incredible the way that God can teach you how to follow Jesus better, the way that the Holy Spirit, when we kind of abide in Him, molds us, forms us into more of Christ's image. It's just, there are no words for how awesome that is. So yeah, that's I think what I'm gonna end with for this devotional. This is my 10th take, and I'm quite tired, and I don't think I'll do any better, but how much better can you get than saying go on long and slow runs with Jesus?